Well, I remember when I started working, I wouldn't make enough money for living.
If I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to just pick up a sport.
Honestly, I think money is outdated. I think money was a system that was invented by a society that has made us into worker bees.
I still do need to work in order to get a paycheck.
Well, firstly, I have no complaints. I have a great life. I have all the money in the world that I need to, in a generous way, yes. And I don't believe I need more money or anything of the sort. Or I think financially, I am both stable and happy.
Me specifically, I don't make money, but I think if we're talking about my parents, I'm pretty good. I'm well off. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to sleep or what I'm going to eat. So I would say I'm middle class / wealthy.
I would consider myself privileged. I have all the stuff that I need in life. I have a school, I have education, I have food, I have sports, I have all that I need.
I kind of grew up very privileged, and I had the opportunity to study at ERJ, and any health problems I had, we had like insurance, so just paid for good doctors and things like that.
My status financially, I would consider myself, I guess, it just depends on my location. If I am in the US, I would probably be poor because I'm a teacher. If I am an international school teacher living in Asia, I am upper middle class. Brazil, about the same between middle class and upper middle class. I'm definitely living a lot more comfortable life. I'm living in the 20% of Brazil, for sure.
Well, I consider myself financially as being stable. My wife and I work together to manage our money. So yeah, I would say stable.
My family, my wife and I have been saving money for a number of years, and we've set ourselves up in a good position so that when we retire one day, and that we'll be able to live a comfortable life.
I would consider myself, I'm grateful for my financial position. I have all the financial resources that I need to live a good quality life.
Financially, I intervene with myself and I take money away from myself and put it somewhere, and then I'm very frivolous with what remains. It's not very important to me, and I hardly ever think about it, and I just tend to spend it, or I give it away. Yeah.
Money has allowed me to have an education which provides a better future for me. I'll be able to have a good job, provide for family, and all those topics.
Well, they say more money, more problems, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think money makes you more of what you already are, and since I'm cool, I just be cooler. Over the years, money has, in some ways, hasn't changed at all. Just the same guy that I've ever was. But in some ways, it has changed it, in that I could travel more, I can eat out more, I could buy clothes when I want to buy clothes, buy the things that I need.
Because of money, I'm able to do everything that I do. Like at a young age, I left Spain and started traveling the world, becoming a foreigner in many different countries, and that's all due to the fact that there's money, right? And I feel like people sometimes get too hung up on money and all that, but saying, oh, it's the root of evil and all that, but like, if you think about it, money does have its benefits.
I have 2 master's degrees, and I've been able to pay for my master's degrees without taking on any debt. So definitely being able to have an education, better education, being able to have better access to healthcare. Like many people, I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat tomorrow. I don't have to worry about having to go to the doctor tomorrow if I'm not feeling well. I don't have to worry about if I can go see my family because I live far away, because I can very easily buy myself a flight home whenever I want. So closeness to family, access to healthcare, comfort, food, basics, that way.
It hasn't had very much impact on my life as a whole, but I can say one thing, that money has changed the way I've seen other people. Like, I've seen people become quite ugly because of money, and it's changed my opinion of people.
Money, to me, is something that can provide not happiness, but an improved level of comfort. And so when I think about what money provides, it can make your life easier, you know, if you've managed your money well and you've got a fair amount of it, or it can make your life more challenging and less comfortable if you find yourself in a situation where you're scrambling and living paycheck to paycheck.
On my wealth and status, like, if you compare myself with someone that's rich, like Franklin might look at a $1,000 shoe and say, that might be a nice gift. I would look at a $1,000 shoe and say, wow, that's really expensive, right? The point of view in which you look at money kind of all depends sometimes in the environment in which you were grown up and things like that, right? Some people that are always have gotten their things given to them, like whenever they ask it, they get it. They have a different view of money, right? But then people who've had to work to get it look at it differently. For example, someone that lives in a favela can't look at an iPhone and say, oh, I really want that, I'm gonna get it, right? Meanwhile, someone that lives in ERJ or something of the sort, they look at that phone and be like, oh, that's just something I'll get probably for Christmas or something of the sort, right? Me personally, I definitely have a different view of it if I compare myself to maybe even my childhood friends, people that live in Spain that haven't gone out of the country, or someone from a favela. But my point of view of those things with someone from ERJ, I think could be potentially similar, unless it's like Franklin of the sort, like just $1,000, why not?
Yes to all of those things. I think money is a representation of value. It allows us to exist in a society, in an economy where we don't have to trade and barter, which is important. It's kind of based, you know, money's a funny thing because it used to be based on gold. There used to be gold for the amount of money that we had. Well, now that's not the case. We don't have gold. Money isn't really tied to gold. And then money at least used to be on paper. We kind of still have that, but right now money is just really an electronic record being passed and forth between banks. And you know, it kind of makes you wonder, does it even exist? What is money? You know, is it even real?
Honestly, I think money is outdated. I think money corrupts people. It creates socioeconomic status. So socioeconomic, you blend those two together when in reality, my perception is that they should be separate. You know, our social lives should have nothing to do with our economic lives, but money creates those gaps, and it creates the differences between us, and it creates wars, it creates instability in governments, it creates instability in ourselves, because when you don't have money, you're stressed. When you have too much money, you're also stressed, and it creates a motivation. Money wants more money, so it's a vicious cycle.
Having money is really necessary. I think it's important. It's important to manage your money and have it. I don't think it's outdated. Maybe nowadays you have like e-coins. Eventually, I think things will be replaced, but you got to give time to things to happen.
I think money's powerful, with money comes power, so I see it as this overruling thing that if you have it, you're probably more powerful than most other people.
The way that money operates now, it's quite virtual. Money doesn't even really exist for the most part. And most of the money that people have exists in a set of numbers somewhere in a bank account or online. And the idea of credit, a lot of people live entirely on their credit card. And the word credit has its etymological origins in credo, which means to believe. And so that always sort of informs the way I see money, because I see people as believing in it, almost like it's like a god, or it's a spiritual entity, or it's something that they don't really have but believe they have. So I think, as a spiritual entity, money informs a lot of what people do and how they act at present. I think people don't trade anymore. Like in the past, people used to trade like salt for stuff. Like salt was the money, or gold, which is a really tangible thing. And now money is just in our heads.
I don't want to be a millionaire by any means. And if I ever became a millionaire, I think I would just become a philanthropist. I would go around the world and try to help solve the world's problems.
I would like to be a millionaire and a billionaire.
I don't think I ever want to be a millionaire or a billionaire. I don't think it would be that much fun. I think you would be wondering if people liked you because you were rich, or if they really liked you. Yeah, I can see it having like some diabolical properties.
I would love to be a billionaire, but millionaire seems more realistic. If you have a good job, I could probably become a millionaire by I'm 50 or so, maybe.
Billionaire, no. I don't know what I would do with all that money. Millionaire, I guess it just makes life a lot easier.
Being a billionaire, can you imagine how many people I could help? Like people in need. I think a lot about that, not only for me, but for everybody. Like people who live in poverty. It would be great to have money to help those people.
Yes, of course. But it's one of those things. What I wish for is money, but not fame. I don't need the fame. I think you're better off to have money and be anonymous than you are to have money and be famous.
I don't think I would need that much money to be happy, but like my goal is to make a lot of money in life. So if I have more money, I might be happier, but definitely working in McDonald's or something of the sort will make me happy. Just maybe not in the same way as once I maybe launch my first deal and get $1 million profit or something of the sort.
$5 million or reais, a little bit more than reais, but there's still a long way for me to work, but I would say 5 to 10 million maybe.
$200 billion. I'll be happy with lower money, but I mean, I'll have certain luxuries that people wouldn't have. First class, mansions, stuff like that.
A couple million should be fine.
Well, I mean, any money will make me happy, right? The moment you're making profit, it's like, hell yeah. But if it's in the big numbers, like you got $1 billion deal, hell yeah. Talking about numbers will make me happy? Well, God, we're looking at like 500 million and above. That'll make me happy. All right. I feel like once you have money, you have power, and you can do a lot of things with that. And maybe one of those things, as people might think, is kind of like, oh, okay, is maybe giving back. And potentially, if I have all that power, like we could see at Bill Gates, maybe buy myself things like a nice yacht, a nice boat, a nice house. Yacht and boat's the same thing. A nice yacht, a nice plane, or something of the sort. But like, definitely giving back would be something I would be properly focused on.
Realistically speaking, I would say $500,000. I don't think I would want more than that. I think $500,000 would be just fine. I think I want just enough money so I can buy a beach farm where I can grow my own food and just live there happily ever after. I know I sound like a big hippie, but it's the truth.
How much money that I would need would probably be $2 million. Even if you gave me $1 million, I think I can turn the million into 2 million, the 2 million into 4 million, like that. But I would say $1 million, but I would prefer 5 million.
Let's say I work for another 10 years. You think about these things when you start to get as old as I am. And so 10 years from now I were to retire and then I were to live another 25 years after that, I would think that I would need about $1.5 million.
If I were to retire in my home city in Toronto, I'd need a lot of money. I'd need at least $2 million to retire, at least. With $2 million, I could buy a very small condominium and maybe eat cat food for another 20 years. Be fine.
Realistically, like $5 million. Retired, I would want like a couple $1 million. So then I can go wherever I want. I can go on vacation when I'm retired. I can have freedom so I can hang out with my future children, and with money I have as much freedom as I could want.
Well, I mean, any money will make me happy, right? The moment you're making profit, it's like, hell yeah.
What is money? Is it even real?
Money creates the gaps and it creates the differences between us and it creates wars, creates instability.
Okay, that's all the questions we have today.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for answering our questions.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.